Hey, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the last video for the Celtic bag tutorial. We've made our bag in the previous episodes, which will be in a playlist link where this one's going as well. We've also made our liner and put our zip in. That was the last episode. So this is actually a little bit bigger than the bag, and that's intentional because this fabric will stretch slightly, so we don't want the bag to tear. We also made our strap using the technique that I showed you because we didn't like the straps that we had at the beginning. This strap ended up being 1.13 meters approximately. So what I'm hoping to do is to make it a strap that could be adjustable. So I've been rummaging around in the craft room and I found a buckle that will fit our strap. You've always got to make sure that your strap is not crushed inside the buckle, so this one is perfect. If your buckle is too tight, your strap will stretch in the wrong places. This has been saved off of a handbag, so it is nice and all metal. The thing we will also need to make, because this will attach to the bag probably on the corner here, we will need to make like a belt loop just after it to hold the end down so it doesn't come undone. So that's what today's video will be, is attaching the buckle, making a little bit there, and then attaching the handle, and then we sew the lining in and we're all done. So good things to look forward to. So let's get started on doing that. The first thing we need to do is to make ourselves a little like a tab here to attach the buckle so that the strap can go through it. So we have our leftover yarn here. This is all that's left to the one ball that we were using. Should be enough, and we're just going to do a single crochet tab, nothing fancy. It doesn't need to be fancy, it's not really going to be seen. And we have our little chicken measure here, so we know we need to make our tab at least what is it, nearly 1.5 inches across, or if you're working in centimeters, about 3.5 centimeters wide. So let's just first make, actually I might make a long tail cast on. So this is going to be part of the mosaic mosaic sample we do later. I'll just start that up again. So all we did is make a slip knot. We can show you that again because I probably did that too fast. So this is your short edge of your yarn. Turn it over the top. I will show that more than once in other videos, so don't feel bad if you missed it this time. Put the long yarn in this hand, short yarn in your hand, loop over the short yarn, pick up the long yarn, pull it through. Loop over the short yarn, pick up the long yarn, pull it through. And it makes, see if you can see that, it makes these, it's like four-sided chain, which is easier to get your hook into for beginning of straps and blankets. This is a very good start for blankets. So we just do as many of these as we think. So short end, long end, pull it through. Short end, long end, pull it through. So I'll do more than I think, that way I can just pull it back to the size we want. Alright, probably one more. So that's our little long tail cast on, and if you look, let me move that out of the way so we're not distracted. If you look, I'll try and turn it slowly, there are little V's on every side. You see them? And that makes it so much easier to pick the stitches up, and they're all the same tension. It's just an easy way to do things. So the next thing we want to do is figure out where is 3.5 centimeters. So it's about there, so we need to pull back to there. Drop that down, take my hook out if I can. Yep. So I'm going to pull back to there, and that is our length of our tab for the buckle. And then we just do normal single crochet. So we do one to go up, turn everything over. We don't go in that one, we go in the next one. You see the little holes Hopefully you can see the little holes. That's the ones we go in. We want to make sure we have 2 strands on top. Always 2 strands on top unless told otherwise. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and for the last one, it's the last hole you can see. Now if I just tap the screen to focus, there's one last hole at the end. I'm holding with my thumbnail so you can see it, and you always make sure you go under the 2, pick up a loop, pull it through, and then finish the stitch. So we have 7 stitches here, and we need to make a rectangle about that big, because what we need to do on this edge here of our buckle, we need to be able to fold it over and sew the ends together so this can stand out from the bag. So let's just see how long that should be. Hold that through there. We don't want it too long. There's our 0, and we need enough to sew in. So I reckon about that much is what we need. So we need to make our piece 7 centimeters long. So we keep going backwards and forwards on there until the piece is 7 centimeters long. And I don't think you need me to show you how to do single crochet for 7 centimeters. I'm going to guess it's about 15 rows. So that's what I'm going to do, and I will be back when that is done. From now on, it's just your normal single crochets, 1 in each under both loops on each stitch. Do the last one here, chain 1, turn the whole lot over. So I'll be back when this little piece is 7 centimeters long, and we'll attach the buckle and attach it to the bag. Okay, so we've done that, and it is 16 rows. Now, if you'd like to know how to count your single crochets, what you got to look for is where these little V's go in together. There's usually 2. Let's see, there's 1 there and 1 there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that's there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We had 15 rows, and this is the 7 centimeters that we said. Right there, dead on. And it is the 3.5 centimeters we said we needed for the buckle, which is right here. So next thing we need to do is we need to find half. So just fold the ends together. I haven't cut the yarn yet. So that's half. So this row here is where the spike has to come through. So hold that, push the spike through that stitch you were holding, and then fold it over. So that's how you get your buckle onto your little tab that you've made. So now we can turn this over. Because we have not cut our yarn off, we can actually crochet these together. Now that's twisted, so we'll just come back through there, and then we go through the first stitch and then through the first stitch on the tab. Pull that up and do a crochet, and you just do this all the way along. Because we did the long tail cast on, we have the little V's on the bottom as well as the V's from the last row on the top. This is why I like long tails cast on. So just work your way along, crocheting in. Let's just make double sure you can see me. And this will securely tie these ends together. You can hear the jingling of the bit of metal. Yeah, always check that you're not going back into the same hole, because you should have the same amount of stitches, so you should have a 1 for 1. One from the top and one from the bottom. And one more. And we have one more there. Right, so you have got this little bit at the end, which I'll see if we can tuck that in. I must have missed one, but it is not the end of the world. We just go back through the last hole. Right, so next thing we want to do, reel off a bit of our yarn, cut that off, pull that through. And there we have our tab attached to our buckle. Next thing you want to do is get your bag. It doesn't really matter what side you put it on, because the bag doesn't have a front or a back. And we want to sew this. This is our side, because that's where our base is. We want to sew it in line with the side, as close to the top as we can manage. And I'm just going to put a pin in there, just to secure it in place. We do want to still see this top edge, because that top edge is where we're going to sew the lining to. So we want to sew along here without attaching to there, if that makes sense. And we want to do this before we put the lining in, because we want to hide our sewing in here. We won't be able to do that once the lining is in. So I'm just going to go away and get a wool needle, and I'm back in a bit and just to sew that on. So I just got the wool needle, and this is the short edge from where we started. All I'm going to do with that, I've threaded it up, and I'm just going to poke it through and into there. I'm not going to do anything more with that at the moment. Then we're going to get the long end and thread that up without splitting it. There we go, back to normal. Give yourself a generous fold over. And the way I like to sew these up, make sure that's in focus, is you take a little bit from the bag and then take a little bit from the tab. We're doing an over sew, because this yarn is the same colour of where we're sewing it in. It will be nearly invisible. I do my over sews fairly close together, because we want it fairly strong. Grab yourself a bit more of the bag and a bit more of that last row that we single crocheted to join the two tab ends together. Back again. I realized that the buckle was the wrong way up. You need it so that the spike is hitting on this side. So I just quickly took it off, repositioned it and put it back. Everything else is the same as what we've been doing. So we just continue with our over sewing, and as you can see, it pretty blends in well, because we're using the same yarn and we're using small stitches. And for the last one, we go there. So that's our tab attached and all the way across. I do like to do a bit more sewing than you really need, because it's a handbag. It's going to have a bit of wear and use, weight in it. So a bit of over sewing never hurt anybody. To make a knot, you go back through the loop before you fully pull it through. Pull that tight, and then I'm just going to backwards and forwards, a bit thick, we're going through 3 layers, my way back across, and backwards, forwards, and through the back again, so we come out inside. And that is our tab sewn on. Bring it back to the front so we can make a knot on this side. Put all the tails down, so we don't need those. Come back through your loop to make a knot. And another one just because it's Tuesday. There we go. That goes through here into the inside, and that's our buckle attached. On the inside, you really don't have to weave your ends in. Just cut your yarn off, find your longest piece and just tie them together. To do a surgeon's knot with a double twist, so that's over the top 1 and then 2, and that's it. You can weave them in if you want to, but you're going to be putting the lining in there, so it's really unnecessary. So that's that side. Now we got to look at our strap and find out which end we like the most. I like that end to be the one going through the buckle because it's got no ends on it. This one has a few ends, so we're going to have to hide them anyway. So let's make this end the side that attaches to here. Now, to make it look right, this should be the same distance down as where the tab is, just to visually look correct. So make sure, fold it so you know you're right on the edge. Feel the other end to know how much you did it by. So a little bit less, and then put a pin through and through. Make sure you find the other one. I'm just going to use a crochet hook to pull these into the inside. Don't try and pull them through the same hole, because what you can do is tie them together on the inside, and then that's another securing point. There we go. There it is. So that's those two blue ends. Once again, surgeon's knot, over and over again, and then over and over again. Right, so now we just need to sew that one. I'm going to put this under the buckle because it's annoying. I'm just going to sew. I don't want to lose this nice decorative edge, so I am either going to sew the outside edge or the inside edge, whichever one turns out to be the easier one to do. We still have our yarn attached to the wool needle. Make yourself a knot on the end so it's not going to pull through, and come in from the inside. Make sure those blues are out the way, and out on the side of the blue thread there. And for this one, because it's rounded shape, I'm not going to do a straight line. I'm actually going to move that pin because my thumb is holding it. And we just do the same as we did on the other side. Pick up from the bag, pick up from the side of the strap, and work your way around, over sewing the edges in. Make sure you get a decent amount of the bag so it's not pulling from one point once the bag's being used. And work your way around. Every now and then, come back through your loop to put a knot in the middle of your sewing just to be secure. So like that, and that's made a loop that will be a stop point if any of it starts to unravel. And here, pick up a bit there, and then pick up the brown on the edge of the strap. A bit more. Come on, get through. That one doesn't want to go through. There we go, got it. See, as I'm pulling this, you're losing the brown edge of the strap, which is what I wanted to happen. That way it looks like the strap's just evolved out of the bag. Alright, now we're on basically the same spot but the other corner. So we will do a knot through the back loop. Turn the bag as you go, makes it easier for you to do it. Don't have to be khaki handed. Do people even say khaki-handed anymore? I don't know. Alright, nearly done. One more. Pick up there. Remember, we're not going to go through this top edge because that's the one our lining's going to attach to. Make ourselves a little knot. Pull it tight, and there we go, and go inside and end it off. Just pick up a loop, back through, get the blue one out the way. There we go. And once more for luck, and then we can cut it off. Make sure that that back loop is straight so it pulls straight. And that is our strap attached. Not particularly difficult. So hold the bag up so you can see. We have made it so this is the wrong side, so that the V-stitches are the right side, so it's the top of the strap. We bring it down through there and then poke it through. And that's how the strap will work, and it's now adjustable. So the other thing we need to do here is we need to put a little strap over there just to secure the end so it's not flapping and coming undone. That's a fairly easy thing to do. Once again, we get the leftover yarn. Do I want to make it that way? Yes, I do. If in doubt, use the long tail. Long end in your hand, short end in your fingers, over, pull through, over, pull through, pull through. We do as many of these as we think. Oh, how many do we think we need? You need to be able to get over the strap and then secure the sides. I reckon we needed a few more. There's no numbers for here, there's no pattern for here because we're making it fit what we have. Does that look like it would work? Oh, do maybe 2 more, which will give us room to attach it. Now, do we think that's thick enough? I think we probably need another row coming back. So we just turn it over and come back the way we started, just to make it a little bit thicker. Not going to count these. Alright, just going to pause that, get this across, and I'll show you how to sew it on. So we made our belt buckle loop. Not a belt loop, a belt buckle loop, and I just did that back row that I was showing you before we stopped. So we put this at the bottom of where the tab attaches. So I'm just going to put that, secure that in the middle with a pin, because I need to sew both ends. So this one still has a long string attached, so we will pick up our wool needle and attach it to this long bit of string. If you have trouble with wool in a wool needle, fold it over the eye and then put it on, because it's like, other than that one decided to be silly. It makes like a crease and they all go through together. Just a little dip. So this is our edge, and we want it to sew to either side but have like a raised bit, because it's just holding the edge of the strap down rather than up and coming undone. So we'll just pick up a little bit from the bag, get through there, yep, and then go through the edge of this little loop thing and pull through, and do a few more. You want it really well secured. and another one. There we go. So that's 3 stitches. Let's just make a surface knot. So go through again and then come back through the loop that hasn't pulled through the bag yet. So that's secured that. Now I'm going to go inside and take the short way around. Let's make a knot halfway across without these strings in the way. Make a knot halfway across so that this is not going to catch on anything. Like so. And then come out on this side where the other side of the loop's going to attach. That knot we made in the middle stops it getting caught on things and pulling out. So there's the edge. We've come out there, so we need to just go through the edge of our little belt loop and then just do the same as we did on the other side. And another one, and the last one. Make a knot with that one, and another one because it's Friday, and back we go. Now I'll just take the needle off there. While I have the needle in my hand, let's thread up that loose end and poke that through. So all our ends are on the inside. We take this pin out and there is our belt loop attached. You can see that. The finger through. Put our strap through wherever, and then it tucks down into there. Probably need a bit more than that, maybe there. And that stops the buckle coming undone, because this is yarn, that's yarn, so they will like static a little bit together and stops it coming undone. So that's the strap finished. That's all we need to do. We find the 2 we just pulled through. There, those 2. Cut that a bit shorter so it's easier to tie. And just do the surgeon's knot again. 2. I know there'll be people in the comments telling me I should do all the ends in, but you're not going to see them, so why bother? Don't waste your time. Get on to the next project. Just tuck them all in. They give the bag insulation so it's warm. So that's our strap put on. It's now an adjustable strap, so that's good. Next thing is to put our lining in. And this is not a fancy lining. You look on one of the other episodes on how we made this. Really simple. So you push it in with your hand, strap out the way, and then you start pinning it in your, what's the word? You need both sides. Sides is a better word. And I usually like to pin below this top edge because that's going to be our finished edge. So do both the sides first. You now have the straps there to help you know where they are. And pin, see that little stopper there? That stops your zip coming undone. So you want to be able to see that. So I usually sew just below that. So pin through. Got your finger on the inside so you know where the owies is, and then we pin these sides. So when we made this, we put all our raw edges to the outside, so we can just go like this and tilt that around, and that's how we do it. Like that. And then this one. Now I hand sew my zips in, not because I'm a masochist or anything like that. I just find I'm more accurate. If I try and do it with a machine, there is a possibility of cutting the yarn, and I don't want to do that. So that's basically pinned in place. I'm going to be using just some thread that matches either the lining or the zip. This one matches the lining. Doesn't really matter which one because you shouldn't see it. And I have a little bit on a needle already, so I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to film sewing the whole lining in. That's just going to be so boring. So I usually start at an end. I've got a knot Hopefully you can see that. There's a knot in the end of my thread and it's doubled. I always do sewing in doubled because this is a zip. And we go like that. And then we're just doing back stitch through both. And what you want to do with your hands, you want to keep pulling the lining down away from the zip. And you want to keep the zip. Yeah. Which thing is the needle? I think it's that one. You want to keep the lining away from the zip. That way you won't have any puckers. So I am going in there, out there, in there. And I'm going to do it with back stitch because I find that is a more secure stitch. So in there, out there, and in there. As soon as I get away from this bloody pin, I'll be fine. And that's how we secure it. And that way you're keeping it in line with the top. You are a little bit away so that when the zip is being used, it's not going to catch. So I'm going to go all the way around there and I will show you the finished bag because this is the last thing to do. Woohoo! After this, we're finished. So I will be back and show you the finished item. And we're finished. It's all done. This is our Celtic weave bag that we finished, and it uses the base. This is how the zip turned out. That's just doing the back stitch. You can't actually even see where the back stitch is under this line. That's why we kept this line here, so it would hide my stitches. Both sides are the same. I will put like a little thing on the pull tab because it's a dress one, so it's chicken, so that it's more easily pulled. And then that is our buckle to adjust the strap with our belt buckle loop piece there. So that's the end of the series. I hope this was helpful and you make your own bag. I'd love to see it if you do. I will put this video into the playlist of the other ones to make the whole bag. So yeah, you can make your own. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And if you have any suggestions for other crochet, yarn, craft related items you'd like to see made or explored, put it in the comments. We'll have a look at them. I can't guarantee we'll do them, but we'll have a look. And I will see you on the next video.